Graubünden, Switzerland. The Swiss Alps are beautiful in summer, but potentially lethal in winter. Every year, avalanches here bury and kill some 25 people. The forests on the side of the mountains play a vital role protecting the towns below from avalanches. The trees make the difference between life and death. But right now, there's a problem. Last winter's violent storms felled hundreds of trees. The rotting trees have become a breeding ground for parasites. And now a plague of these insects threatens to destroy the entire forest. To save the towns from next year's avalanches, they desperately need to clear the parasite-infested trees. But the trees weigh over 2 tons each, and they're scattered across the mountain forest, miles from any road or track. They need to be airlifted out of the forest. It's an extraordinary job, and it will take an extraordinary machine to do it. Džemini, the only helicopter in the world with 2 intermeshing rotors. Maximum load 2.7 tons. Top speed 185 kilometers an hour. Built in America, the Cayman K-Max has twin 15-meter rotors which spin in opposite directions. This extraordinary system is the most stable and efficient rotor technology known to man, giving Džemini incredible precision, stability, and lifting capacity. Džemini, twice the power, twice the lift. Ready to handle double the trouble. Crew: Adrian Amgarten, chief logger. Rudi Reinhardt, second logger. And Michael Spurry, Džemini's pilot.
It's amazing, yeah.
It's early morning on the day of the job. They've got 650 tons of logs to clear by the end of the day, and chopper pilot Spurry is concerned.
You see up to the sky, it's quite windy. It's going to be a tough day.
High winds make it harder to control Džemini. 6:37. With the loggers in position, Spurry can get on his way. Džemini's 1,800 horsepower engine fires up. The engine drives both rotors. The blades turn in opposite directions. The twin rotors give Džemini enough lift to take off when they're turning at just 270 RPM. But transporting logs with Džemini is extremely hazardous. The trees in this forest are tall. To get near the logs, Džemini must get frighteningly close to the treetops. If one of its blades hits a tree, this could bring Džemini down. The crew has fitted Džemini with an extra long 50-meter cable. But a longer cable means a less stable load. The 2,5-ton trees will act as massive pendulums beneath the chopper.
Es ist schon recht strenge Arbeit und auch sehr gefährlich.
Add to that electricity pylons hidden in the trees and the constant threat of getting the load tangled in the forest. This is going to be dangerous.
Das Ableiten, das könnte ja irgendein Baum im Strupp ausgehen. Und es könnte etwas im Heli sein. Man muss einfach schauen, dass man sicher nicht um das Holz kommt und nicht weit wegsteht.
With Džemini speeding towards the loggers at 185 kilometers an hour, Reinhardt gets the first load ready. Džemini's narrow fuselage and huge cockpit windows give the pilot better visibility than most choppers. But the hook is hanging far below on the end of a 50-meter cable. This hook weighs 60 kilograms. A blow on the head could prove fatal. Spurry is trying to hold Džemini completely still, but the gusting wind is making it difficult. Reinhardt quickly attaches the load. Now he needs to clear out of the way as Spurry starts to lift these huge infested trunks off the forest floor. Once clear of the trees, Džemini flies the 2 kilometers to the drop zone. As Džemini starts to descend for the drop, Spurry spots the electricity pylons. Getting Džemini's load tangled in these power lines would be fatal. And the wind is making the logs swing even more.
Daar gibt es nog tegen. Ja, langzaam diep. 2-1 op.
Spurry and Džemini make the drop. Now they head back up the mountain for the second of over 200 loads. But this time, when Spurry tries to pick up a load, things quickly go wrong. They are working an extremely steep part of the mountain. Spurry is flying worryingly close to the trees further up the slope. The angled blades are only a few meters from the tips of the trees, and the wind is pushing Džemini closer. Sembawang, Singapore. Singapore has the busiest port in the world. Each year, more than 500 million tons of cargo is loaded and offloaded here. But today, sitting on a quayside in Sembawang is the biggest single object this yard has ever been asked to handle. This hulking maze of steel pipes weighs an awesome 17,000 tons. It's a gas production platform, and it's needed 500 nautical miles away in the Gulf of Thailand. But to carry this Leviathan across the sea will take an incredible machine with miraculous special powers. Black Marlin, a super transporter ship with a difference. Length, 220 meters. Maximum load, 45,000 tons. Black Marlin is half ship, half submarine. This is an incredible sinking ship that can deliberately submerge beneath the waves. She looks like she's sinking, but when she's halfway down, she stops. And at the press of a button, Black Marlin raises herself back out of the water. Black Marlin pulls off this trick by filling and emptying a series of huge ballast tanks built into her hull. And she uses this special power to lift truly massive loads. Black Marlin, the incredible sinking ship, is strong enough to have carried the Titanic. Crew, Marek Zbikovs, Black Marlin's man on the ground.
We continue the ballasting, then we stop and wait.
Brian Shaw, engineer.
There's always doubts in your mind, re-go over things that you've thought about before.
And Didar Singh, the man in charge of the gas platform.
There should be one guy managing the show, and everyone should know their responsibilities and roles.
This crew is about to take on the biggest job this yard has ever attempted. Man and machine will be tested almost to breaking point.
I'm telling you the last time, as the contract holder, okay?
Don't shout.
I will!
Don't.
I will!
Black Marlin, the incredible sinking ship, is approaching the yard. On deck, the crew is busy fitting steel rails, which will be used to take on board the giant 17,000-ton gas platform. As the massive ship berths, the loading crews from Black Marlin, the yard, and the gas production platform meet to discuss the move. They are all keenly aware of the potential for things to go wrong.
So what is your suggestion?
My suggestion? No, I'm waiting for...
No, you keep asking this every day.
One guy.
On hypothetical issues which we don't know what can go wrong if it goes wrong, and we'll address the matter there and then.
Black Marlin has berthed and has lowered herself into the water so that she is exactly level with the quay. The plan is to pull the giant gas platform along a set of skid rails and onto the ship. The trouble is, as the platform edges onto the ship, Black Marlin will begin to tilt. The crew must compensate for this tilt by gradually adjusting the volume of water in Black Marlin's ballast tanks. And to make it even tougher, they also need to fill and empty the ballast tanks to compensate for the constantly changing tides. With Black Marlin now in position, the crew is fitting 4 huge metal girders, linking the rails on the quayside with the rails on the ship.
The tolerance required for this is quite tight.
The platform is resting on a massive steel frame, which is sitting on the rails. A team of men are smearing the rails with 17 tons of grease to allow the platform to be pulled along. On the deck of Black Marlin, Singh and Bekovs are making final checks. 2 years of planning is about to be put to the test. 10 a.m. Finally, everyone is satisfied. The move is on.
We start pulling.
Thick steel cables connected to the platform have been fed into Black Marlin's 6 huge hydraulic strand jacks. The cables are pulled taut. Then they are slowly pulled through a hydraulic cylinder on the strand jack, and the mighty platform begins to move. Slowly, the platform starts to edge along the greased steel rails. It is vital that the rails on the quayside are perfectly level with the rails on the deck of Black Marlin. The transition from land to ship must be seamless. But Bekov sees the end of the rails on the quayside are rising up.
Can you please stop?
He immediately calls the bridge of Black Marlin to warn them.
Excuse me, can we stop?
He wants to tell them to raise Black Marlin in the water.
Can we stop for the ballasting?
But the bridge isn't reading him.
MH, I don't hear anything from you, please. MH, just stop.
But the platform isn't stopping. It's moving closer to the edge of the quay.
Please, stop.
Aitik Mine, Sweden. Aitik Mine is an incredible place, the biggest open pit in Europe. It is also the most northerly mine, lying 100 kilometers above the Arctic Circle. In summer, the sun never sets and wild reindeer roam free. 50,000 tons of copper ore is dug out of the mine every day. The copper ore is buried in the steep sides of this giant pit under a layer of super hard rock. Rock laced with quartz crystals, the 4th hardest substance found on Earth. The only way to get to the copper is to drill hundreds of holes into the side of this vast cavern, fill them with explosives, and... But to drill into this quartz rock will take one very special machine. Viper, the Atlas Copco Pit Viper 351. Weight, 188 tons. Maximum drilling depth, 41 meters. Viper lifts itself up on 4 high-powered jacks, raises its giant tower in under 5 minutes, and drills 20-meter-long holes into just about anything. Viper is the Earth's largest and most powerful mining drill rig. Crew. Engineer Roger Eriksson and his team look after the Vipers.
This machine, instead of blood, it's hydraulic oil.
And Tobias Kostet drives them.
It's a really muscular machine. It's a really good machine to be working with.
And Matti Ravelin, he's responsible for hitting the blast deadline.
Pete Vipers are the machines will save my day today.
"6 a.m. The bosses of the Aitik mine are holding a crisis meeting. All eyes are on blast boss Matti Ravelin. He has to get 48 holes drilled before 7 p.m. tonight. If he can't get the holes drilled in time, then Europe's biggest open pit mine could grind to a halt.